you have noticed, but I haven't been posting any videos for the past 2 weeks. And that is because something has been unfolding in me lately. At first, I thought it's just procrastination because after I posted my last video, I just felt like, yeah, what's the point? Until a week back, actually, I was reading a few of my works, I was rewatching my videos, and I realized that I just wanted to burn it all. I just felt it's just not so up to the mark and it's rubbish, and I wanted to burn it all. And that is when I realized it's more than just procrastination. So I was watching a video of mine where I said that all the answers are within you. All you have to do is just sit alone with yourself. Being with yourself is the only thing you have to do to find the answer to every single thing in the world. And that's what I did. I sat alone with myself for a few weeks, actually probably 1.5 weeks, and I realized that the issue that was bothering me was not procrastination, but it was a question that is, if there is no self, then what's the point? Now, if you have noticed, in my last 2 videos, I have been speaking about that there is no self and that you are Shiva, you are the shapeless, formless consciousness, you are the divine, and that this body is just a clothing for your soul. It's wearing it today, tomorrow it will be wearing a different cloth. So, similarly, there is no self. And that is what has been bothering me for a while. Like, if there is no me, then what's the point? So until I sat with it, that's when I realized that the answer to the question that if there is no self, what's the point, is that there is no end. There is no self, and that is the point. Now, when there is no, you know that there is no you don't fear. You don't fear anything at all. You can do what you love. You want to do what you love, and you can step forward in doing what you love when you know that there is no self. You don't fear anymore. You don't fear anyone or anything. And that's the best point of knowing the fact that there is no self. You don't fear anything. You don't get angry by the way people behave at you. You don't back out because someone said something, because there is no you. And that's when you are walking with the answer to the question that if there is no self, then what's the point? There is no self, and that is the point. But this feeling is something very easy to know, but to realize and to believe it, it's very difficult, and it's almost undescribable. Because I look around, I see people, goals, desires, even myself, my thoughts, and I'm wondering, there is no end, there is no you, so what are this so-called you chasing after? First, we need to understand what is this that is happening, what exactly is this, and why does it happen. So first, I need to tell you that this feeling of knowing the answer to the question that if there is no me, then what's the point, can only happen when you sit alone with yourself, when you are meditating or just being with yourself alone, trying to find some answer, or just being there. And in this shift, you see thoughts for what they are and not what you think they are, which is nothing. These thoughts are just the clouds. You are the sky. If the sky is dull, if the sky is dark, if the sky is stormy, we say that the sky is looking dark, or the sky is looking ugly, or the sky is stormy, but it's not the sky, it's the clouds. The sky is unchanged. Similarly, you are the sky, you are unchanged. It's the clouds that are passing by, which are dull, ugly, or pretty, or scattered. It's just the clouds. Your thoughts are the clouds. Your thoughts are not you. This shift is when you see just emptiness. You don't know what is happening, but you just know that there is no me, there is just emptiness, and you believe that. The Advaita Vedanta calls it Atman, and Buddhism calls it Shunyata. Shunyata is emptiness, Atman means self. And over here, the self doesn't mean the body, it means the soul. Shunyata states that there is no self at all. Nothing is there by itself. And when this insight starts sinking into you, it doesn't feel like some high enlightenment, but it feels strange, because all the things that you have thought about till now, everything, your thoughts, your desires, everything that you have been told about is a lie. Does it feel strange? It's it doesn't feel like some high enlightenment. And this is when a void appears. So now another question appears, that is, what is the void? This void is often described as some scary abyss, but in reality it's not nowhere close. This is a void when you're not suffering, nor are you chasing happiness, peace or comfort. You're just there. You don't want to chase happiness, you don't want to chase peace, you don't want to chase comfort, nor are you suffering. This is what the void is. But yeah, believing this fact can honestly feel uncomfortable because we are used to measuring life based on our reactions, our excitements, our sadness, our desires, our thoughts, everything. But the void isn't about feeling nothing. You were never meant to crave life based on your emotions, your thoughts, or your fears, or anything at all. But instead, it's about believing that you were meant to just witness and not believe that you are the thoughts that is appearing in your mind. Buddha called it nirvana, which is extinguishing of cravings, not because you got what you wanted, but because there is no one to want it at all. There is no one to want it. The Advaita Vedanta calls it the Brahma, which is not a force, not the idol, not the god, but that which is beyond description. That which remains even when everything has been stripped away. That is Brahma, that is the self. So when you feel the void, don't label it too quickly. Don't label it that, yeah, I'm feeling this one, this or that or anything at all. Sit with it and you will see through the void. You will realize what it's trying to tell you. You will realize who you are. You know, there are two very famous quotes. The first one is by Ramana Maharshi, that is, the question, who am I, alone will destroy all the other questions and finally kill itself as well. The question, who am I, is destroying everything because the answer to the question, who am I, is that there is no you. So now no other question lies in the world. There is no you. You are the divine. You are the divine. You are the ultimate form of consciousness. So now there is no single question in the world that lies there. And the second part, which means that will kill itself as well, means that if there is no you, then nothing exists. So it kills itself as well, which means that there is no you. The second quote is from the Heart of Sutra, which is, form is emptiness and emptiness is form. This doesn't need to be broken down into simpler terms. It just states it very simply. Form is emptiness and emptiness is form. So you know, after meditating or just being with myself, I become this peaceful person and I'm calm, but after a few minutes, I suddenly crave the world again. After meditation, you open your eyes, you are very calm, everything around you is fine, you see everything through a calmer lens, and suddenly you are being pulled into the material world again. You want to be seen, you want to be heard, you want to be approved of. So this issue gives birth to another question, that is, why do I crave the world again? So you open your eyes and suddenly you want to be heard, you want to be seen, you want to be approved of. So a very big question appears, that is, so is it a failure? All the peace, calmness that you work through, is it a failure? No, it's not. Because I myself was suffering through this question because I was meditating and everything, and as soon as I woke up from meditation or as soon as I opened my eyes, few minutes later, probably and half an hour later, I'm like, I want to be approved of again, I want to be loved, I want to be seen again, and then I'm like, what is the point? So I failed until I again sat with myself and I sat with the question. I sat with the clear vision of finding the answer to the question, that is it a failure? And the answer was no, it's not a failure. The craving is just another appearance, Maya, illusion. It's not evil, it's just mistaken. We are often saying things like, it's Maya, it's the illusion, it's evil. But it's not. Even the formless appears as form. But it's not. To understand this better, we need to understand the very two important perspectives and very clear perspectives by Advaita Vedanta and by Buddhism. In Vedanta, they say Brahma appears as Maya. Even the formless appears as a form. In fact, you are a formless being. I just told you, you're Shiva, you're the formless, shapeless, ultimate form of consciousness, but you are in a form right now. This form is not you, but you have taken refuge in the form. So a form is not evil, it's giving you refuge, and a form is bound to attract another form. A form is bound to attract another form, and thus you crave the material world. And it's not something bad. It's not something evil that you're craving it. It's not something evil that you probably want to go on a trip. It's not something evil that you want to buy something that you love. It's not evil, it's not bad. It's Maya, it's illusion, yes, but you are in a form and thus you crave a form. And it's not evil, it's not bad. Now, if we consider the picture that sages out there, they don't crave anything. That is because they don't consider this body as anything at all at that level. They have reached the level where they don't consider this body anything at all. They don't even realize the fact that they are in this body. They just see the real self, the formless consciousness. That is what they in fact see standing in front of the mirror. They have reached that level, and thus they believe, they trust, they know that they are not the form, that they are formless, shapeless, and thus they don't crave any form. Thus they don't crave the material. But it's not something bad to crave the form. It's not something evil to crave the form. It's perfectly fine and it's okay to crave the form. Slowly, gradually, after many and many births, you will eventually become like that, but don't blame yourself for wanting that. Buddha didn't say to suppress your emotions. He said see it, know it, but don't identify with it. Don't identify yourself with the desires or the material things that you want. Don't identify yourself as the form. Don't identify yourself. You see it, you know it, you don't suppress it, but don't identify yourself with it either. That is what Buddha said. That is what you are supposed to do. You're not supposed to suppress it. You're not supposed to deny it. What you're not supposed to do is identify yourself with it. So when you're shifting into the world, thinking, desiring, wanting approval or anything at all, don't blame yourself and don't shame yourself for that. You know, this topic really made me remember a very nice quote by Nisargadatta Maharaj, that is, I look inside and see I'm nothing, that is wisdom. I look outside and see I'm everything, that is love. So desiring, wanting, looking outside, seeing that you're everything, it's not evil, it's not bad. So now, the only truth that remains is that there is no self. This means that you no longer move through life as a person, but you move through life as a pure, shapeless, formless consciousness. But this doesn't mean that you give up on your goals. This means that the idea that you are a separate entity from the divine, from the pure consciousness, and that you have to reach a particular future to be enough, that idea collapses. In fact, the thing that there is no you anymore. You walk through life not as a person but as a formless consciousness, as the divine, gives birth to the courage within you to go ahead and do whatever you love and do whatever you want, because now you don't fear anything, because there is no you at the end. So this is an advantage. It's not something that is pulling you down. It's not something bad. In fact, it's the best advantage one can ever do. And all you have to do to get this advantage is believe, realize, and walk through life trusting the fact and knowing the fact that you are the divine pure form of consciousness, and there is nothing in the world that can ever reach the divine. So now what remains? The only thing that remains is consciousness. Only pure formless consciousness. So I hope this video was helpful for all of you. So bye bye, all the best. Hope to meet you very soon. Do leave your opinions, your stories and your thoughts in the comment box so that it becomes easier for me to make my next videos more effective and more helpful for all of you. Also, the link to my Instagram account is there in my bio. I am putting up the exact shorter versions of these videos over there. So bye bye, all the best. Hope to meet you very soon.